You're texting back and forth. She's laughing at your jokes. The energy feels electric. Then something shifts. Her replies get shorter. The spark goes cold. And you're sitting there thinking, what the hell just happened? Here's the brutal truth. Attraction doesn't die because you did something obviously wrong. It dies because of these 10 subtle things that most men do without even realizing it. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what they are. If you want to stop sabotaging your own success with women, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments which country you are watching from. Now let's continue. Number 1. You over-explain yourself. Let me tell you about Marcus. Great guy. Successful. But every time he was late to a date, he'd send a 3-paragraph text explaining traffic, his meeting that ran over, and his entire thought process about time management. He thought he was being considerate. She thought he was insecure. Here's what most men don't understand. When you over-explain, you're not building trust. You're revealing that you don't trust yourself. Every paragraph of justification tells her you're more worried about managing her reaction than owning your actions. I know a guy who forgot about plans with a girl he was dating. Next morning, no essay, no guilt trip. Just, I messed up. That's on me. If you're still open to it, I'd like to make it right. Simple, direct, masculine. The woman? She respected him more, not less. Because confidence doesn't need a manual. It just is. Next time you feel that urge to explain everything, ask yourself, am I trying to be understood or am I trying to be forgiven? Because the man she stays attracted to isn't the one who never screws up. It's the one who owns it without making her manage his shame about it. Number 2. You react to her pullback instead of leading through it. Sarah starts taking longer to text back. Her emojis disappear. The vibe shifts and you feel it in your gut. So what do most guys do? They panic. They text more. They ask, is everything okay? They suggest plans, offer reassurance, maybe even hit her with the dreaded, I just want you to know I really like you. And in doing that, they kill whatever attraction was left. Here's the paradox that destroys men. When she pulls away and you chase, she feels less safe, not more. Because feminine energy doesn't respond to pursuit when it's retreating. It responds to leadership when things get uncertain. Think about it this way. When she goes quiet, she's processing something. Maybe it's about you, maybe it's not. But your reaction to her silence tells her everything she needs to know about your emotional stability. The move? When she pulls back, you hold steady. Not cold, not distant, steady. One clear message, I've noticed some distance. No pressure on your end. Just checking in. I value clarity over guessing games. Then you step back and live your life. Because a woman is far more likely to return to a man who made space without making drama. It shows her something most men can't offer, emotional independence with relational intention. Number 3. You confuse attention with presence. Jake was the perfect texter. Good morning messages, quick replies, hearts on every Instagram story. He thought he was being attentive, but when they were together, he was always planning the next move, checking his phone, or half listening while thinking about work. He gave her his attention, but never his presence. And there's a massive difference. Attention is transactional. It's replying fast because it's routine. Presence is remembering something she mentioned 3 days ago and bringing it up because it actually mattered to you. Attention is complimenting every photo. Presence is noticing the slight change in her tone and asking, what's really going on? Women don't just read your words, they feel the frequency beneath them. That's why she can ghost a guy who did everything right because all his efforts still made her feel emotionally alone. She doesn't need you to be always available. She needs you to be completely present when you are. Number 4. You turn your past into present conversation. Oh yeah, my ex used to love that place too. Seems innocent, right? But every time you bring up your ex, even casually, you're signaling that you haven't fully moved on. And nothing kills attraction like realizing she's not a new chapter in your life. She's just your emotional rebound journal. Here's what she hears when you constantly reference your past. I'm still emotionally entangled with someone who's not here. Real masculine energy doesn't compete with ghosts. It doesn't need to know who came before because it's too focused on who's right in front of him. If she asks about your ex, keep it brief. I learned a lot, we had our time, and we've both moved on. If you're tempted to bring it up, ask yourself, is this useful to her, or am I trying to explain myself through someone who's no longer relevant? Because she doesn't want to compete with your past. She wants to feel like she's the only woman in your present who actually matters. Number 5. You apologize for who you are sorry. That probably sounded dumb. I know I talk too much. I'm not really good at this dating thing. Those little disclaimers, those throwaway lines, they seem harmless, even self-aware. But to her, they read like warning labels. Every time you soften your edges to make her comfortable, you blur the very presence that attracted her in the first place. You can be humble without being apologetic. You can admit flaws while standing firm in your identity. But the moment you start negotiating your personality like it's a used car you're afraid no one wants, the attraction dies. Instead of sharing from fear, share from confidence. Number 6. You turn vulnerability into a performance. I don't usually open up like this. You're one of the few people I feel safe talking to. I've just been through a lot. You think you're being emotionally evolved. But if your vulnerability comes with a spotlight and a script, it stops being intimacy and starts being theater. Real vulnerability feels raw, unguarded, unrehearsed, not polished, not perfectly timed, not followed by a check-in to see if you impressed her with your depth. My friend once dated someone who had a habit of getting deep every time she asked a simple question. At first, she admired the honesty, but over time, it felt curated, like he'd said it all before, like it was part of his emotional highlight reel. He wasn't letting her in. He was handing her a monologue and waiting for applause. Here's the difference. Real vulnerability invites you in, even awkwardly. Performed vulnerability is clean, well-lit, and emotionally self-congratulatory. If you're being vulnerable but still managing how she sees you in the process, that's not openness. That's emotional marketing. She's not attracted to your pain. She's attracted to how you carry it.
Number 7. You try to impress instead of express. You talk a little louder when her friend walks in. You casually mention that deal you almost closed. You highlight your gym routine but skip the part where you haven't been consistent in months. You're not lying. You're just curating. And the moment you start performing, she stops feeling connected. There's a difference between expression and impression. Expression is talking about your startup because you genuinely love solving problems, even if it's not profitable yet. Impression is name-dropping a potential investor, hoping she'll see you as ambitious. One comes from truth. The other comes from validation seeking. And women are wired to detect this difference instantly. The more you try to impress her, the more forgettable you become. But the moment you express, without filter, without polish, without trying to land it, she sees the real you. And that's what she remembers. Next time you catch yourself dropping a flex or humble bragging, stop. Ask yourself, would I still say this if I didn't need her to be impressed? Because the man who doesn't need to be impressive is usually the one she finds most irresistible. Number 8, you dismiss her instincts. She says, something feels off about him. You say, you're overthinking. She tells you, I get a weird vibe from that situation. You say, you're being too sensitive. You think you're being logical, but what you're actually doing is making her feel unsafe. When you dismiss a woman's instincts, you don't just make her feel unheard. You make her question the very radar system that's kept her safe her entire life. This isn't about always agreeing with her. It's about knowing the difference between facts and feelings. You can challenge her facts, but you don't get to debate her feelings like you're trying to win a court case. When she brings up something that doesn't make sense to you, try this instead. Tell me what you're picking up on. Well, that line alone invites clarity instead of conflict. You don't have to agree with everything she senses. But you do have to respect that her intuition has value. Because when a woman feels emotionally validated, even if her logic's a little messy, she feels safe. And attraction lives in safety, not in being right. Number 9. You lack direction. But mask it as chill. I'm just go with the flow. Let's see where things go. Whatever works for you. You think this makes you sound easygoing. But chill without vision doesn't feel safe to her. It feels passive. Masculine energy isn't about dominance. It's about direction. Not control, not force. Just a grounded sense of where you're headed and why. Guys with super mellow energy who never picked fights. Always down for whatever, become exhausting over time. It doesn't make a man mysterious. It makes him invisible. Because a woman can't follow a man who doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. You don't have to be a CEO. You don't need a 5-year plan. You just need to move with clarity, not apology. Start leading in small ways. Pick the restaurant, take initiative. Say, let's do this instead of, if that's okay with you. Because chill is only attractive when it's backed by purpose. Otherwise, it's just emotional driftwood. Number 10, you act like you're replaceable and she starts to believe it. You wait for her to initiate. You hesitate to take up space. You say, whatever works for you, like you're just lucky to be there. The message you're sending? I'm here because I hope you keep choosing me. But no woman wants to feel like she's someone's lifeline. We want to feel like you're whole on your own, that being with us is a choice, not a rescue mission. When you act like you're replaceable, she starts to feel it. And eventually, she agrees. This isn't about being arrogant. It's about having quiet confidence that says, I know who I am. That you're not chasing approval, you're offering presence. She's not looking for a man who worships her. She's looking for a man who sees himself clearly, deeply, and unapologetically. Because the second she feels like you don't, you've lost something more valuable than her interest. You've lost her respect.
Attraction doesn't vanish all at once. It's chipped away by small moments you don't think matter. By the way you overexplain. By how you chase her pullback. By turning real connection into a performance you hope she'll applaud. She didn't stop being into you. She stopped feeling you. Because somewhere along the way, you stopped showing up as a man she could actually feel. The truth is, she wasn't asking you to be perfect. She was asking you to be real. Real presence. Real ownership. Real emotional depth that doesn't flinch when things get complicated. Attraction isn't built through tactics. It's sustained through truth. If this opened your eyes to something you've been doing wrong, smash that like button and subscribe for more content that cuts through the BS. And drop a comment, which of these hit closest to home? Thanks for watching.